And hello and welcome to the Pig Show. We're bouncing around. We're outside the game. We're inside the game. There's little Pokemon running around. Oh, look at that. There's people talking in chat. Someone's talking about XCOM. Let's go. Down here, it is time, guys. It is Icast, your freaking awesome replays. Of course, this is game 2 of the Slow Gas Diet Challenge. Too many players, just eating too much gas. They are Vespine intolerant. They're farting all day. And basically what happened is a lot of Twitch chatters have come to me. They said, Pig, I know you encourage a high gas diet. You say it's good for you. But my partner has said that after the 14th time in one day, when I said, hey, guess what? And she said, what? And then I farted and then quickly pulled the sheets over her head. She said it wasn't funny anymore and that I should fucking stop or she was going to leave my ass. A lot of people came to this complaint. I at first kept saying, if she doesn't appreciate your aroma, just leave her. It's not worth it. If she can't handle you at your stinkiest, she can't handle you at your not quite as stinkiest, which I think is a great sentiment. So unfortunately, people kept complaining. I have caused a lot of my viewers who unfortunately do take my life advice to lose their marriages and have their children taken away from them, amongst other things. So because of that, we're trying something different this week. The challenge was try to only mine with one worker on gas. Try to just, lower that Vespine intake a little bit. See if we can be a little bit less of a stinky boy. Down here in the bottom right-hand side, in the red, it is Fidel. What's Castro's name? Was that Fidel Castro? Is that, or is it Fidel, like Dell the computer company? I don't know. Anyways, up here in the left-hand side, the deepest and beautiful, most resonating of sounds, it is the large bass sound. Now, there's like a bass guitar, right? There's like a double bass is like one of those giant fucking cello type looking things, right? Is that what a double bass is? Do you think a large bass could be like that? I think that's what a double bass is. I'm not good with the music. For those who've heard my interpretation of many Disney songs, you may have caught on. Basically, all I do is I vaguely make it sound like the actual song, and I add dick and balls and gooch and dicktown repeatedly. And I hope that you guys have the same sense of humor of a 9-year-old boy who's just found out what those words mean. Because if you don't, you're probably not going to find 90% of my jokes funny. I know I wouldn't if I wasn't still entertained. I actually remember, I have a very clear memory of when I was 4 years old, and my older brother taught me 3 naughty words. He's like, I know some naughty words, Jared. And I was like, what, brother? What are they? And he was like, poo, bum, and wee-wee. And I was like, no, that's the naughtiest shit ever. So I'd just run around screaming poo, bum, wee-wee whenever I could. And I thought I was basically the biggest rebel of 1992, to be honest. Hanging out, watching Captain Planet by day, screaming poo, bum, wee-wee, until my parents would tell me to shut up at night. It was a good time. Honestly, do miss those days. I'm still considering, if I ever have kids, what will be the choice swear words I teach them to spam. So shout out to my older brother for teaching me those words as well. Good on him. Yeah, it was basically the Dicktown of 1992. I spammed it a lot. I spammed those words a lot. Now, of course, guys, we've got to announce next week's challenge. Exclamation mark Icyfar in the chat, please. If you guys could activate it again, that would be great. The challenge for next week is Yeah Nah. Where I want you guys to be the red tape around your opponent's hopes and dreams. Block them at every turn. Block your opponent's buildings as much as you can. As we mentioned in the previous one, use landed buildings. Use Nexi, Cybercores, fucking burrowed units, build hatcheries, run units around to block things. Go in and try to block them when they're swapping add-ons. Whatever creative use of blocking your opponent that you can think of, go for it. Get a DT. Don't even use the DT to do damage. Just stand it underneath their expansions where they want to land and be like, you're blocked. I don't know. These are some ideas. That'll get you started. There's always a lot of people who are so used to playing like the most standard StarCraft. So I always like to, when announcing the topics, give you guys a few ideas of some of the some of the more straightforward. Well, I guess they're actually not the most straightforward, but some of the more obvious ways that pop into my head of how to make the challenge work. Marines are going to come over here for Fidel. These two Stalkers, just perfect stutter step micro. You'll notice how you know, they're absolutely beautiful starter step. Both Stalkers do go down for a Marine, a very good trade. The Zealot and the Probe goes down as well. And this Stalker says, where my friends didn't starter step, I also will not starter step. And he does die. It turns out Marines are amazing units against Stalkers when they don't starter step. So, you know, I always talk about Stalkers being a pretty fantastic generic unit if you learn how to starter step with them in the very early game. I think there's a reason why players who just... Oh my god, they're attacking their own Nexus. Whoa, large base. Why are you blaming the Nexus? They're like, oi, fucking Pyramid Lord. Why didn't you come out and help us fight? In there's a fucking dude sitting in the top of this. He's like got that Anubis head thing and he's shagging his sister or something. He's like, no, I must create new bloodlines for the future leaders of Protoss. And I'm like... Wait, are you guys actually just ancient Egyptians? They're like, yes, we basically just do incest and make sure we don't spread the royal fucking adjudicator blood or some shit. And you're like, and the Zealots are like, we fight on the front lines with laser blades. Meanwhile, for some reason, the robots stand in the back line shooting the artillery. Wait, why? Why do we... Wait, so... Oh, okay. Okay, I know why. It's because there's crazy motherfuckers running the Protoss who are like, yes, to prove your zealotry, you must charge into battle. Meanwhile, the robots can sit in the back. They're like, you know what? Like, think about it. You're a Protoss guy. You're like, I want to join the army. Maybe I could be given a cloaking device and I could scout. And they're like, we have automated robots for that. And they're like, oh, okay. But I thought like that would be kind of a safe way without risking my ancient, awesome Protoss alien life. And they're like, no, that's what the robots do. You get to charge into the front line. We'll give you really fast running shoes. Wait, no, we actually forgot to upgrade the fast running shoes. You can walk slowly to your death. You'll be lucky to get one stab off before you die. See? Well, look at this. The Observer, the only one that survives, is like, beep, boop, boop. My job is to perv. I mean, at least a Zealot, if it's there, it could maybe enjoy the perving a little bit more. I mean, what's a robot going to do? It accidentally spies on the command center showers, looks in the window, goes, ooh, it's not even going to get a bit of a rush out of that. Meanwhile, maybe the Zealot's into that sort of thing. It goes, oh, this is fucking exciting. I don't know. Either way, Large Base did get his ass kicked in that battle. Meanwhile, Fidel, a single worker on that gas. A single worker on each gas geyser. It's making me bloody excited, guys. This is actually sick commitment to the challenge. And we're going to go Fusion Core BC. Okay, so... When I talked about this challenge, I was really like, you know, you're going to go lots of basic units, going to be lots of Marines, Hellions, that sort of stuff. Here we see Fidel not quite understanding just how fucking bad having one worker on each gas is. He's going to try to go 2 Starport BC. He's like, oh, shit. I'll build 1 medevac, and I don't think we're going to ever have enough gas for a single BC. What? Okay, so it's a fake fusion core. Check it. Pretends double BC, actually builds medevacs to it out of a time. This is just a reacted starport. This is a different looking reacted starport on your screen. That's all. Fidel fucking mind games Castro right here, man. Meanwhile, 29 SCVs. He's long distance mining fucking everywhere. Dude, why are we... This is not even fucking worth it. Build another command center, please. Oh, no. You know, I really thought this Protoss player was toast. But I think there's actually hope now. No, the Protoss player is still making Stalkers and Blink. Oh, fuck off. Jesus Christ. The number... You know, I don't normally get triggered that players don't take my advice when they want to get better at StarCraft. But when I see low-level players making only Stalkers and Blink, and I'm like, what the fuck? This is like if someone was like, oh, I feel like trying out a bit of gymnastics. And you're like, cool. You're going to maybe learn to balance on one foot to start? And they're like... Oh no, I'm going to start with a triple backflip onto a fucking full mount, something spinny shit, flippy shit. Fucking 360-degree splits. And you're like, but that's the most complicated thing. I feel like you need years of training, flexibility, strength, and control, and practice, and coordination to do that. And they're like, yeah, I know. So I'm gonna do it. And I'm like, you know, you're not going to make use of the Stalkers because you don't know how to stutter step, and you're not going to use Blink properly at all either. And without using those 2 things really well, they're the least efficient unit in the game because they have really low DPS, bad stats in general, and it's all about their micro ability that makes them a good unit. And fucking everyone out there in Bronze League is like, yeah, I know, so I'm going to make pure Blink Stalkers every game. And I'm like, look, if you work on your micro and you get better at it, go for it. If you enjoy it, what I tend to see is players not fucking microing at all. And I'm like, what are you doing? If you're gonna make Blink Stalkers, please learn to fucking micro the unit that completely relies upon you knowing how to micro. This little foraging party finds a probe or two, leads those Stalkers on a bit of a merry chase. Blink's done. 0 blink usage here. But, you know, it did just finish. Might not have realized. Fair enough. The Protoss is up on economy. Meanwhile, Fidel here still has managed to build 1 battle cruiser. I think it might be dawning on Fidel how fucking bad a mining with 1 worker from gas on the other side of the map is. But no, Fidel here is not about winning the game. It looks like a disciple of Florencio. It's more about pissing on the grave of his opponent. Of course, for those who don't know, when you're in the middle of a match and you try to go straight to pissing on the grave of your opponent, they can punch you in the fucking face and you can get knocked down. So large base is going to come out and cut off the ever so important long distance mining gases. We've got a few people in chat. What is with these extractors? What the fuck is happening? We are playing the slow gas diet challenge. This is Fidel here is playing. You're only allowed to mine with 1 worker on each gas, and has decided to try to go BCs, which makes 0 fucking sense. My favorite part there is the Marines stimming and running into the concave of Stalkers. So an amazing start to the fight for Protoss, followed by him deciding to attack into a planetary fortress. Ooh. He's like, cool, you stimmed your Marines to their death? Sweet, I could take that and pull back. Or we could attack into a planetary with a tank and a pack of Marines behind it with a medium number of Stalkers. When has that ever fucking worked? Meanwhile, by the way, guys, did we see any fucking Blink micro? Not really, did we? So that's Protoss Sudoku, okay? You know, some people, not all Protoss are zealots, right? But most of the players are pretty zealous, right? They're very Japanese and World War II inspired, you know? They're like, you know, anything weird happens, they just start fucking kamikazing. I'm like, you know, running 8 Stalkers into a planetary is not a good idea. They're like, nah, fucking kill it. It's like, well, if your opponent's too stupid to repair it, like, which, I mean, Fidel is trying to go battle cruisers with 1 worker on each gas. No, we don't want to. 1 SCV starts repairing. The Stalkers blink back. Large base is scratching his head. He's like, I thought headbutting Stalkers into a planetary was how you win the game. Well, you know what? I do believe they learnt in World War I that if it doesn't work the first time, try it another 16 times. Let's warp in more fucking Stalkers, eh? Seems like a good idea. We are transferring workers, which is actually getting me very excited. It means the economy of large base may actually be prolonged in this game. No rally point in that Nexus, though, unfortunately. And, you know, the economy of Fidel does suck balls. Let's not forget that, guys. It's still a bunch of fucking Marines, a siege tank, 26 SCVs, most of which are mining on the opposite fucking sides of the map. But he's building enough BCs. And, I mean, realistically, I don't think there's any way to lose against this sort of play if you know how to saturate a third and not run into planetary fortresses repeatedly. Unfortunately, that SCV there is in a long-term caring relationship for that planetary and literally just sewed up all the holes in it, cleaned it up, wiped its butt for it. Even though it's an older planetary fortress, it doesn't have good control of its bowels after a lot of, you know, vicious encounters with Mass Stalker. But, you know, it gets patched up. It's got that caring SCV who unfortunately has now abandoned it. So we're going to see round 17 of Stalkers engaging into a planetary? Oh, I think we might. If you guys like seeing Protoss players fucking kill themselves, this is probably the cast for you. I'll tell you, if they've done it 2 or 3 times, they're going to do it again. Mass Stalker players just can't contain themselves. You know, it's like leaving meat in front of a fucking hungry dog. It's just like, oh, I could fucking kill all my units attacking that. Yeah. Oh, yeah, let's fucking, oh, maybe. Nah. Oh, lures the Marines out. Large base. Look at the Blink Micro pulling the Stalkers on low hit points to the back with fantastic Blink Micro, except for the part where he's not. He's got some sentries, though. Oh, right. Fuck me. This is a game. I mean, this is actually just going to be too many BCs, right? I mean, 23 Stalkers beats 5 BCs, especially since it's +1 versus 0-0, right? The thing is, I think we're going to see the Stalkers and Sentries just kill themselves on the other units, the planetary, and then the BC is just going to win the game, right? If these guys teleport across the map, they're just going to wipe out these mineral lines in a matter of seconds. Still, SCV's trying to mine all over the map. I love it. Once again, 10 Stalkers runs forward on their own. Fidel just showing immaculate decision-making. Says 10 Marines, 40 Stalkers. You know what? I think it might even be conscious. I think Fidel at this point has said, you know what? Last time I did this, he attacked into the planetary in the tank and lost his whole army. He's like, maybe that's just the sacrifice, you know? Maybe this Protoss player gets a little bit aroused if you just hand him a pack of Marines for free, and then he goes, ooh, can't contain himself and fucking YOLOs in. So maybe that's the bait. Fidel's like, if I keep just handing you a few Marines, maybe he'll... Too much blood will rush away from his head. Let's put it that way. Might start making some poor decisions, you know? A rush of blood to the other head. Definitely one of the big causes of players getting a bit excited and making bad decisions in games sometimes. Give them an opening somewhere, and they will try to capitalize into the worst possible position. The Stalkers are going to come forward. They take a tank shot. The Marines are here, though. Oh, they're not even shooting the tank. Look at the blink micro. Once again here, large base showing that fantastic stutter step and blink micro I was talking about. You can see there, stutter stepping through the Marines, just an immaculate army control from large base. You know, there was someone in chat who said, oh, but blink micro is so fun. Stalkers are fun. Don't hate on it. As I said, guys, it's totally fine. If you want to fucking work on your micro. If your idea of micro and engage involves attack moving and then going, stop making Stalkers, you fucking gronks. What are you doing? Jesus Christ. It's like Terran players who make Raven fucking Liberator tank mine battlecruiser fucking Hellion. And they go, oh, it's so hard to control late game TVP engagements. It's just, I mean, how do I both interference matrix, anti-armor missile, and siege my widow mines at the same time as sieging my tanks and microing my libs and spreading bio in 4 directions and stim packing? And I'm like, oh, you fucking don't. You fucking idiots. Jesus Christ. Oh no, I'm gonna make 400 Stalkers and not micro them. Welcome. Thank you. It's a PSA. I'm raging about this because I want to stop watching Protoss players massing fucking Stalkers. That's it. I want you guys to fucking enjoy the game. The number of Protoss players who like get ahead and then make the worst unit and fucking just walk them to the... Stop it. Micro your fucking Stalkers like your life depends on it. 2 base, blink all in every game, micro your fucking heart out. Or make other units. It's one or the other. No making blink mass Stalker and dying. I'm sick of watching it. It hurts me. Fidel, though, well played. You managed to go BCs off 15 gas geysers, each one with a single worker mining on it. Well done. That was one of the worst transitions, but I admire the fact that you made it work. GG, well played, good sir. GG's.